Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post it up to Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. Okay, so let's dive into, oh no, I wanted to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. So let's say you're in a different country and you don't like the therapist there, or you can't get into the therapist there. Go to BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Fill out a questionnaire and they will place you with a therapist here in the US of A. If you're here in the USA and you don't like your therapist in your state, they will place you with a therapist that's an online therapist in your state, and they're licensed. They're either master's level or PhD level. So, and I've been getting really good feedback from people using BetterHelp. So they like their therapist, they're getting help. This is good. So that makes me very happy. Thank you, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. All right, let's go to the first question. Can you please recommend a trauma-informed therapist that does online counseling? Well, I can't recommend a specific one because every state is licensed differently. So every state is licensed, okay? So wherever you are, you will need to get a trauma-informed therapist in your state. And once you find one that is trauma-informed, you're going to look up their reviews. You're going to talk to people, you know, because usually it's like if you're in like a support group, especially for narcissistic abuse, people will say, oh, hey, I went to this therapist and oh my God, they were great, or ooh, avoid this one, or, you know, things like that. So you're going to look for a trauma-informed therapist in your state, and you're going to look up their reviews, look up what other people are saying about them. So that's going to help you a lot. So do that. I don't know other states' therapists personally. I mean, I have a few people that I know in different states, but it's really every single state is licensed. So you have to get a therapist in your state that is trauma informed, and you read the reviews, you look it up, you talk to other people. Did people like them? Did people not like them? You know, you avoid the ones that people didn't like, and you tend to go for the ones that people do like. So that's the best way to find a trauma-informed therapist in your state. So, okay. Are narc parents emotionally unsafe in themselves? Well, yes, except that narcissists don't process or feel emotions the way we do. So, narcissist parents do not love. Narcissists do not love. Period. Abusers do not love. They do not process love and emotions the way you and I do. They don't. They're very bizarre. They're so disconnected from the emotions of other people. They do not have that empathy cog. So do they feel emotionally unsafe? Oh no. Oh no. They've got this weird thing going on where they are right, everybody else is wrong. They are the only ones that have the answer or know the way or whatever, depending on what kind of narcissist they are. So if the narcissistic parent was a communal narcissist, right? Those are the ones that hide behind religion, cults, that kind of thing. They are the way and the light. They have the only answer. They're always right. Everybody else is wrong, etc., etc., etc. Okay? If they're a covert narcissist, they're always the victim, right? They can't see their part in anything. If they're an overt narcissist, oh, look at me, look at me, look at me, I'm fabulous, I'm great, tell me how great and fabulous I am, I'm the best thing ever, blah, 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 right? So are they emotionally unsafe? Well, to their kids they are, because they can't recognize another emotion in another person. Emotions anger them. Emotions anger them. They get very, very angry at children, especially when they are expressing emotions, because they can't feel them. They have no way to relate. They can't relate. They literally, you and I can watch a movie and put ourselves into somebody else's shoes. Or we can see somebody going through a really tough time and we go, oh God, how must that feel? Dear Lord. They can't. They literally can't. They literally do not have that empathy cog. They don't. So they don't feel, what must that feel like? They don't empathize with another person's emotions. And when somebody does express emotions, they get angry because they don't know how to deal with them. They don't even know how to deal with their own emotions if they actually have them, which I don't think they do. And they certainly cannot deal with it if somebody else has an emotion. So are they unsafe for themselves? Well, yeah, in that they don't feel, but beyond that, no, they're not suffering the way that they make their children suffer. They make their children wrong for having emotions. They make their children wrong for getting angry at them or crying or whatever. And then they will punish them because they want them to stop, because they don't like it. But it's not because they don't like it because, it makes them feel, empathy. They don't like it because they don't understand it and they can't control it. So they want to punish. So that's what they do, because a healthy, normal parent allows the kid to feel the feels, because that's what healthy, normal parents do. Unhealthy, abnormal parents shut the kid down. So I hope that answered the question. If it doesn't, let me know and I can revisit it. Okay, when we get a dark feeling in our gut, what does that mean? Well, it depends on the context. So, for example, hold on a second. If you're getting a dark feeling like, something doesn't feel safe, what is it? What was the trigger? What was the trigger? What was happening? What was going on? What was the trigger around you that caused that dark feeling? It depends on the context, And sometimes it's not always our gut instinct that's doing that, because remember, the solar plexus is also right there. That is our fear center. So sometimes when we have a lot of fear, we often have stomach issues. So especially in the solar plexus area. So you want to definitely be looking at context. What is that dark feeling? What do you mean by dark feeling? Tell me more. What do you mean by that? What is the context of the dark feeling? Is it self-harm? Is it about another person? Is it about a situation? So generally, the gut is a yes or no answer to a yes or no question. It's not a lot of story. It's not. And this is where people get really messed up with it, because they think that it's story is what's guiding them. No, story does not guide you. Yes or no guides you. That's the gut. Gut is yes or no answer to a yes or no question. So the head and the heart will tell this big, huge story. And sometimes you get a gut instinct. Like, say, for example, you go into a store and something's telling you it's off and you need to get out of there, and you get out of there and then you find out later on that the store got robbed. Okay, that's your gut instinct yelling at you. Okay, so, what's the context? That's what you want to look at. What is the context? What is it about? Is it story? Is it your head? Is it your heart? Or is it really your gut? So it's practice. You got to practice. What's the differentiation between the head, the heart, and the gut? The head and the heart tell stories. They tell stories. They keep us stuck. The gut is a gut feeling, or it is a yes or no answer to a yes or no question. So if that does not answer your question, please let me know and I will try to revisit that. Okay. How do you deal with the overflowing emotions that trigger body memories? Yes. My psychologist said I need to feel my emotions and stop suppressing them. I was never allowed to cry as a child. Well, it is overwhelming. It is overwhelming. Join the club. I wasn't allowed to cry as a child either. My dad used to tell me, you're a Marine, Marines don't cry. And it took me until I was 16 to figure out I hadn't enlisted. I know. So, yeah, we initially are overwhelmed with the emotions. They feel overwhelming and all of the things that go along with it. Doing things for ourselves feels selfish. Speaking up for ourselves feels like being bitchy, drawing boundaries feels mean, all of these things that are not true, but because of our abuser, we think they're true. So the emotions can be overwhelming. And do our bodies get triggered? Yes, The Body Keeps Score, Bessel van der Kolk. Wonderful book. Highly recommend it. Hopefully, he's supposed to be here in Phoenix doing a talk for continuing education units. And I put my name in to be able to go because I really, really, really want to see him. He's awesome. So Bessel van der Kolk, The Body Keeps Score. when you get the emotions, okay, we are the sky, emotions are the weather. It can feel overwhelming. Absolutely. When that, wave of emotion comes over us and we're crying or we're angry or whatever, you don't want to suppress it. You also don't want to act it out on people that don't deserve it, right? So you've got to find a way to allow yourself to have the emotions in a safe place that you're okay with. So one thing I like is I like working out on a punching bag when I get angry. So I'll start punching the punching bag and I'll get the anger out that way. And seriously, within 5 minutes, I've reached the softer emotions that are underneath, which are the hurt, the betrayal, the sadness, the whatever. Okay. So that's one way to start working on emotions. Another way is paint it out. Get crayons, get paint, get, colored pencils. Get creative with it. What are you feeling? What is the emotion? What does it feel like? What does it look like? Play with it, Maybe clay, maybe doing stuff with clay, maybe, get creative with it. Allow yourself to express the emotions in different ways. Because we did get shut down. You're absolutely right. And so when we start feeling those emotions, it feels overwhelming. Absolutely. And we do get body memory. Absolutely. So I think I've talked about this before. I had a massage therapist once that did really deep tissue. And I would just start bawling. And it wasn't because it hurt. It's because it was releasing all of these body memories that were coming out because my brain was flooded with all of these images and things like that. And so, we do. Our body does keep score. We do keep memories in our body. And yes, it can be overwhelming. Find a way to mitigate it. Find a way to make friends with the emotions. The emotions are good. The emotions are not bad, guys. Our abusers make us believe that emotions are bad. And they do that because they can't cope. So they shut us down. Or they act on their emotions. So it's like there's no impulse control. Remember, with personality disorders, the key thing across every single cluster B, no impulse control. So if they have anger, they're going to act on it. They're going to hit. They're going to harm. They're going to hurt. If they don't like something, they're going to shut you down. That kind of thing. Instead of, taking a step back and going, hold on, kid is having emotions. Kid is having big emotions. Need to help kid deal with big emotions. So they act on their anger. They act on what they're feeling. It's usually anger because that's the emotion that's easiest for them to access. So, they teach us how not to deal with them. And they teach us very quickly that those emotions are quote unquote bad. They're not. The emotions are actually there to keep us safe. Let me explain. When we feel anger, it's not a pure emotion. Love is love, lust is lust, happy is happy, sad is sad. Anger is the bodyguard of the softer emotions. It lets us know when we have been hurt or threatened or sad or whatever. Okay? So anger is part of the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. So when the amygdala perceives a threat and all of those cascading series of events happen, the cortisol pops up, we tense up, we cut off the oxygen to our lungs, the adrenaline's going, heart is racing, thoughts are racing, blah, blah, blah. At that point, we go either into a panic attack or we go into a rage attack. So anger is part of the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So when you get angry, that is the universe's clue to you to go, stop. What am I afraid of? Where did I get hurt? What am I afraid of happening? What's the softer emotion underneath the anger? So it really is there to keep us safe. It really is. And crying, okay, well, usually with a healthy person, if they have caused somebody to cry, they'll stop whatever they're doing. With an abuser, obviously, tears, anger, whatever is narcissistic supply to them. And so they eat it up. And so that makes the emotion not safe when we're with the abuser. But when we are on our own, working through ourselves, it is so vitally important to get back in touch with the emotions, because the emotions are what keep us safe. They tell us what's going on. Oh, I feel sad because this happened, or I feel angry because I got hurt, or I was threatened in some way, or, and so I need to do this. So the emotions are there to help us figure out what's going on and for us to express and experience those. That's a healthy thing to do. It is abnormal to sit on an emotion, and then explode. And that's what abusers do. Anger, when you sit on it, always comes out sideways, and it hurts people you had no intention of hurting, or animals or people or whatever. So you never ever want to not deal with your emotions, because there will always be a consequence for that, and it's usually you or somebody or something you love getting harmed. So you want to work on the emotions. Get an emotion chart. Start drawing. Start playing with clay. Start working out on a punching bag. Start singing. Start finding songs that express the feelings that you're feeling, and go with it. And allow. You are the sky. The emotions are the weather. They're going to come in. They're going to do their business. They're going to sail right back out. They're not going to stay forever. It does feel like to us when we're little kids, it's going to stay forever. No, it's not going to stay forever. It's going to come in, do its business, and leave. And you just allow. You just allow. You may want to talk to your therapist about maybe doing Gestalt. Gestalt therapy is the empty chair. So that's where you get an empty chair across from you, and you imagine the person you're having issues with sitting across from you, and you tell them everything you need to. And the therapist kind of guides you through, okay, well, tell them this. Well, what are you told them this? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? And then allow. I see you're about to cry. Allow yourself to cry. That kind of thing. So you could do Gestalt. Gestalt is I've done that. It's very helpful. It really is. So you could try Gestalt. You could talk to your therapist about, let's play with different modalities if they're comfortable doing that. If not, then they need to refer you. So yeah, emotions are important. Don't smush them. Don't suppress them. Okay. And cry. It's okay to cry. So one thing you also want to do is when you're doing the mirror work, hi, good to see you. Have a great day. You know what? It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to cry. You're not going to get punished. It's okay. Give yourself permission. So you're reparenting yourself to make it okay. You're normalizing it. So you treat yourself the way a good, healthy parent would. A good, healthy parent would say, I love you. You're having big emotions. It's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry. Just don't take it out on yourself or other people. Let's help work through this. What do you need? What do you need? So when you're doing the mirror work, it's okay to cry. It's all right. It's okay. I give you permission. It's all right. Your mom and dad were wrong. You know what I'm saying? So give yourself permission to cry. Give yourself permission to have your emotions, and work with your therapist on that. Okay, I hope that answered the question. Let's see. My abuser committed suicide. This is my source of not feeling safe. I haven't been able to heal. What am I doing wrong? You're not doing a damn thing wrong. You're not doing a damn thing wrong. So even when the abuser commits suicide or dies, okay, it's really hard for the target of abuse to feel safe because the emotional safety was taken away. So again, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not. It just takes time. Get with a good trauma therapist, seriously, and start working on the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. Start working on CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. Just because an abuser dies doesn't mean that poof, suddenly we're going to feel safe. It doesn't. Especially if there was years and years and years of emotional abuse and verbal abuse and physical abuse and sexual abuse and religious abuse and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We make decisions about that as a little kid. We do. So it's really important to get with a good trauma therapist and write a goodbye letter to the abuser. That's one way to start the process. Write a goodbye letter to them. Tell them everything you wanted to say that you couldn't. And then trot it out to the barbecue, read it out loud once, burn it, or bring it into your trauma therapist and work it through. That's another thing you can do with that. So emotional safety starts with you. And it starts with getting rid of the baggage that's not yours, that belongs to the abuser. So Pete Walker in the CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving, I think it's chapter 3, talks about putting the anger, the shame, the blame, the guilt, whatever, back onto the abuser. It is not yours. And the emotional unsafeness, that also is not yours. They created that. Dear abuser, here's where you made me feel unsafe. And I still feel unsafe to this day. So bleep the bleepity bleepy out of bleeping bleep you. You're a bleeping bleep bleep, and you just let them have it and put it back on them. It's not yours. Don't carry it around. And then start working on emotional safety, meaning trusting yourself, trusting your gut, listening to your gut, working on self-esteem so that you're rock solid, working on boundaries so that you know your deal breakers, that what you will not put up with, and that creates emotional safety. So there you go. I hope that helps. All right, let's see. How do you deal with your mother gossiping about you and slandering you to everyone and anyone? It's been very painful. The golden children don't get gossiped about. Well, here's the thing. People who are willing to believe the worst of you do not deserve the best of you. So if a parental unit is gossiping, you can't control them. You can't. You cannot control them. So get that through your head first. You cannot control them. They're going to say and do whatever they're going to say and do. So what you do is you get away from them so they got nothing to gossip about. Seriously. It's like if they're dedicated to telling stories and lying about you and gossiping and this, that, and the other thing, you don't need to be around them. You do not need to be around them. So, and if you can't get away, like let's say for some reason you can't and you're still stuck in the same town with them, you sail above it. Let them talk. Don't let them get to you. That's what they want. They want to get under your skin. They want you to feel less than. They want you to feel whatever. So don't, they're going to do what they're going to do. Oh yeah, that's my mom gossiping again. Okay, whatever. Sucks to be her. Because people who actually have a life don't gossip. They don't. Because you're too busy living your own life. You got a life that you're living. You don't need excitement from a gossip. You don't need to do the drama triangle. You don't need to do the triangulation of communication. So somebody who's a gossip is basically got no life. Because the only thing they've got going for them is talking about other people. And that's a pretty small, boring world. So you live your life. You go on with your life. You do your thing. So they're going to say and do whatever they're going to say and do. Let it go. Rise above. Low to no contact if you can. If you can, move away. And then they really won't have anything to gossip about. And believe me, they'll try. They'll try to suck you back in. They'll try to do all their crazy dance. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. Let them. It's not your problem anymore. They're going to say and do whatever they're going to say and do. You cannot stop the smear campaign. You can't. I wish you could. It'd be nice if you could just bap them over the head with an enlightenment stick and be like, knock it off. But you can't. They're going to say and do whatever they're going to say and do. And you just rise above. And anyone who is willing to believe the worst of you does not deserve the best of you. So go live your life. Can't control them. Get away from them if you can. All right. Could you talk more about the guilt of going no contact with elderly parents who never can ask for enough? Okay. Famous saying, there's one more thing or problem I need help with. Endless. Okay. So I call them ask holes. Okay, it's not just elderly parents that do this. This is like elderly collapsing narcissists, which I'm going to talk about actually in a few weeks. So they are always going to try the guilt trip. They're always going to try the fear, obligation, guilt. And what you do is you just back away and back away and back away and back away. You are under no obligation to care for these people. And they will do, I think I've talked about this, when my mom had to go into the care facility because she could no longer care for herself. She had heart issues. She had congestive heart failure. But when she had to go into the care facility, it was filled with these collapsed narcissists that were just snappy and demanding and one more thing. And they treated the staff like they were servants as opposed to staff. It just horrible. Horrible. And they all hated my mom because my mom was like the grandma of the group. And she would, talk to them and ask them about their day and how are you doing and what's, give them advice and, things like that. So when they get collapsed, when they get older, they're terrified of dying. They are. They absolutely, every narcissist out there is terrified of dying because they can't control it. And of course, none of us really know what happens, in the great beyond. So, and so they're constantly take care of me, show me you love me, take care of me, take care of me, take care of me, take care of me. And it's never ending. They're black holes, no kidding. So what you do is you start backing out. And, you know, if you feel the need, you could contact a social worker and start arranging for care. So you're under no obligation to care for the aging, collapsed narcissist. And they are ask holes. They will. Help me, help me, help me, help me. You help them. Oh, well, one more thing. Help me, help me, help me, help me. And you help them. Oh, well, one more thing. Help me, help me, help me. Do you see where I'm going with that? So yeah, you're under no obligation to continue to help them. You're not. And you got to deal with the guilt and let it go. You have nothing to feel guilty about. You've gone above and beyond the call of duty. So it's kind of like this one woman that was at the home that my mom was at. She was down the hall. She was just a nasty, nasty piece of work. And nobody ever came to visit her. Nobody paid attention to her. Nobody went out of their way for her. Now with my mom, they would go out of their way for my mom. They would, you know, even on their breaks, they'd come in and talk to her, and, you know, because they liked her. She was nice. She was kind. This woman, polar opposite. Nasty, vicious, spitting, like literally she'd spit at him. And she wasn't dementia. She was a narcissist, and she wasn't getting the attention she felt she deserved, entitlement. And the family basically was like, I don't want anything to do with her. You guys deal with her, you know? So, and I can't blame them because she was nasty. So, you know, if these old collapsing narcissists wanted family to take care of them, then they shouldn't have been complete jackwagons to their kids and grandkids. There you go. You owe them nothing. If you feel guilty, write a letter to the guilt. Dear guilt, I got nothing to feel guilty about. Thank you for playing. Bye-bye. Go pound sand. Okay? All right, there is that. All right. So yeah, you're going to start backing away. You're going to start backing away. You're going to, you know, not be there all the time. Okay, last question, and then I got to get going. Is there a good way to shut out the triggers that are currently happening on a daily basis? I feel like my adult child's drama is disrupting my therapy unintentionally. Okay, so definitely you're going to want to talk to your therapist about that. So if you've got an adult child that is creating drama, having drama, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and it's interfering with you being able to calm yourself, work on yourself, et cetera, get with your trauma therapist and talk about that. That is a topic that needs to be talked about because that is impacting your therapy and your therapist needs to know. So basically, again, we cannot control another person. If somebody else is doing drama, and they're an adult, back away. Back away. You don't have to fix the problem for them. If they keep creating problems, you don't have to fix them. So there that is. All right. Okay, kids, you guys have a great week, and I will not see you this Sunday. I am going to take the day off. It is my birthday. I am going to sleep in. I'm going to relax. The following Sunday, which is the 27th, I am going to be talking about Munchausen by proxy. So how these abusers pathologize their kids physically, mentally, emotionally, and otherwise, and why they do it. So we're going to talk about Munchausen by proxy on the 27th. All right, guys, have a great week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.